You know what annoys me? Model railways. Quite easily the most frustrating hobby on the planet. I'm going to tell you why. So, recently I've been finding myself getting more frustrated with the day-to-day things that we come across in this hobby. I'm just noticing that they get to the point where it's become so irritating that it makes you not want to bother. It makes you just want to go, what is the point in all this nonsense? I'm spending all my money and I've got absolutely nowhere in achieving what I want to achieve. And you got me thinking about making a little list. So I'm just going to verbally communicate the top ones that come to my mind today, and it's several things really. First one being is detail parts. This really boils my wicket, as you all know. Now this is a Batman Class 47. There we are. This is the new tool version. Very nice, very pretty. The detail parts don't come fitted. They've not even put the hook on the front of it. They want you to do that. And I've got the hooks here somewhere. Where are they? There you go. Nice small hook. And we've got a hole to fit the hook in. Okay. So here you are with your fingers. And you try and get it into this little hole. And of course, it doesn't fit. You try to get as much light on it as you can. And of course, your hand gets in the way. Every time you push it, because you're on the hook by the chain and the hook itself, and it just will not go in. And of course you're going to push it, and you push it too much, and one of two things will happen, won't it? Well, it's coming, don't we? Push it, and you'll push it, and you'll push it, and then if you're lucky, you'll get it to stay in. Or one of two other things will happen. There we go. Just about managed to get that in. Just about managed to get that one piece in. Now I've got to do the rest of them. Now the other issue you're going to face is if I now want to put a tension lock in there, well guess what, then we've got the issue we spoke about last week, haven't we? We're going to have the tension lock knocking things off and derailing. But of course what usually happens is when you're fitting detail parts like that, is that you end up trying to force them in and they go ping onto the carpet and you've lost them forever. Then you've got to ring up the spares department and pay an exorbitant amount for a little plastic hook. Really annoys me. Really annoys me. Another thing that's roiled me up this week is sound decoders. Now, once you start modelling with sound, it is a slippery slope because you won't stop. And when I want to run my locomotives now, if the sound isn't running, it just seems flat. It seems like there's something missing. The only way I could probably put it into words is when you've got a baseboard and you've just got track on it and you've got your train running around and it's okay, you can enjoy the model running, but that's about it. That's where the connection ends, sort of thing, with the imagination of the real world. But when you put a bit of scenery down, it fills it in, and it all of a sudden becomes very difficult to go back to just having a plain baseboard because you're now used to having a certain level of detail. The sound is a detail. Now, it doesn't need to be 100% right because these little tiny sugar cube speakers we have, which are, just got one off camera here, they're only small things, and these fit into most models, some more than others, and some models have got provisions, especially your more modern things like from Cura Scale and what have you, they've got nice big earth moving speakers in there because they've been designed from the ground up to take sound in place. That's fine. The frustrating thing is when you try and fit a sound file to something that's custom made, or something that wasn't designed for sound, like my Gladstone model, for example. Now, as much as I love the little thing, it's still not running. And it's still not running because I rushed the installation of the decoder. Here it is. Nice little Zemo unit. I rushed the install. There we are. I was so excited to get it running and the sound profile sounded brilliant. Got it all wired up. But right at the last second, the last minute, something just wasn't quite right. And because I can't leave well enough alone, I've got to just get in there for the little last bit of detail, the little last problem, fix everything just so I can't leave well enough alone when it's working. I tried to adjust something. I tried to adjust how the body sat on the frame, and I ended up pushing something just a little bit too far the wrong way. and the speaker wasn't mounted in place properly, and I didn't insulate it because I'm just testing it, and the speaker being metal and a magnet, and the engine or the motor being metal and a magnet did this, and I heard this lovely and I quickly turned the power off with the layout. Trash. So there we are. That's another thing this week that's got on my weekend. Despite knowing I'm going to rush it, despite knowing that I shouldn't rush it, I still rushed it. I rush installing the little detail parts, and I rush when I install sound decoders, and I've done quite a lot of sound installations, never blown a decoder yet to my recollection, but I've blown one to this week. I've blown one this week, and basically I'm going to send it away for repair. Thankfully you can repair these decoders. I can't repair them, I'm not clever enough, but you can send them away and a lot of places will repair them for you. Zemo, thankfully, do repair them, so I'm not too bothered. I can get that reblown with another sound profile, which I will use because I'm addicted to sound. But nevertheless, this week I've had to fork out another substantial 3-figure sum for a replacement sound decoder, because I will have Gladstone running. I will get Gladstone running. Another thing, while I've got you, is when locos get released and they don't work. And it can't just be me. It can't just be me that gets overexcited or anticipate something coming through. You've waited for months, maybe even years for your model to come, and you plug it in and you get on the track and it doesn't run. It goes and it stutters and it stalls and bits fall off of it, and it just irritates me. Now, a lot of that might be down to my fault because I've not made sure the track's perfectly clean, despite the fact that I regularly clean my track, even though I don't need to, because I use a high nickel quality grade track from legacy models, from DCC concepts. There's only so much I can do to prevent myself from rushing. I've probably got ADHD or something like that. In fact, there probably is a high possibility of the fact that I do have something wrong with my brain. It just ends up being so frustrating when things don't go as planned. Now, I ended up coming across a N7, a Locomotive Rail N7 locomotive. I was given it by a good friend of mine, and he said to me it doesn't run very well whatsoever, if at all. It just runs like an absolute bag of spanners. It's always run like a bag of spanners ever since day one. Taking it out of the box, it's never run right. So I felt like punishing myself and putting myself through several hours of hell, frustration and swearing, so I thought I'll have a go at making that run. So I did. So I got the N7, and it, as usual, put it on the rolling road and it just wouldn't roll, it just wouldn't work. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was wrong with it, so I started at the bottom. Took the body shell off, changed the decoder, a better decoder, because the previous decoder wasn't working properly, clearly, because no matter which direction you told it to go in, it always went backwards. Forward, backwards, backwards, backwards. So I put a fresh decoder in there, and that helped a little bit, although the loco was still running like trash. So I ended up getting on the rolling road, which is an invaluable piece of kit, by the way, and pressing down on the loco, nothing's working, it still wouldn't run. So I had to then strip all the body off again and looked at the pickups. And I noticed that the way the PCB board is in these things here, you've got a little plunger. And this little plunger has got the two tiniest contacts in the known universe, and they sit and they attach to the bottom of the PCB board, and they do this, they connect, which is fine if it's been installed and works properly. This one clearly hadn't, because no matter what I did, it wouldn't work. So I decided to do old school, and I hardwired from the pickup strips to the decoder, and I took the PCB board out and put it to one side for later reference. Now, things did improve, but we still weren't quite there yet. I noticed there was a clicking noise coming from the front axle, and it wasn't working as it should be doing. A little bit of a wobble as well. Further investigation found the pickups were stuck in the spokes from the factory. There you go. We're stuck in the spokes of the wheels ever so slightly, so it was going and that was causing the loco to rock as well. So despite the fact that I had the loco in bits at this point, I still kept going despite having been at it for several hours already. I got the pickups, bent them so they weren't touching the front axle, and the loco ran better with only 2 axles picking up power than it did with 3 axles. I thought this can't be the case, so I put the pickups back so they were touching the front 2 wheels on the front axle again, and the problem came back. There wasn't any clicking this time, but there was something wrong with that section of the pickup springboard clip thing, whatever, and for whatever reason known only to the person that assembled that loco in the factory, that didn't work. So of course, here we are again. Not to be beaten though, I pushed the clips, the pickup springs back into place, tied up my wiring, fitted a Stay Alive from DCC Concepts because they help a lot, and thankfully I'm happy to say the loco actually runs superbly. And when I showed the previous owner, he said that it's the smoothest it's ever ran. So I'm not going to start a business in repairing broken locomotives, but that was my one and only victory this week from other railways, was managing to bring a locomotive from basically being a display piece to actually usable and working. And eventually, when I get that broken sound decoder back, this one here, once it comes back repaired, I'm going to get an N7 sound profile, put on that, and I'm going to stick it in the N7. And then I'm going to have a very affordable, nice little project, which will be sound fade, rolling around, and nice and weathered. Right, let's have a look at the railway and see what else I've been doing this week. There we are then. There's the N7, sat in the siding, which of course it wouldn't do before. And I've weathered it. Of course I've weathered it. That's what we do here, we weather things. Now, I'm just thinking what to do with the rest of this layout. We've got the carriage sidings there on the back of the platform, but at the front here, I'm not sure what to do with it. I'm thinking of extending the goods yard here. I'm going to resurface all this because I'm not liking the gravel, it's too thick. I'm thinking of just resurfacing all of it, making it the same as this concrete here, and moving what this used to be like a little park or observation area, but I'm thinking if I make it into a goods yard it'll be a lot more usable. So I've just got a few placed items just to give me an idea. I did talk with the idea of making it a building site. Perhaps the local authority is installing some sewage works or whatever. That might be also a thing to consider. So I'm thinking of doing that. I'm also thinking of extending it as a bit more of a smaller goods yard with a bit of extension, but I'm not sure how to block off the points or whatever. Would they have even been blocked off? Or would anyone just be able to walk in and switch them? Oh, who knows? I wasn't alive in the 60s. If you were, let me know. Now, this used to be this has been a nuclear flash sidings, it's been an oil terminal, it's been everything, and it's been a sign-on point for drivers. And I'm thinking I might just check it all out and make it a coal siding, because now I am completely pre-tops. I've sold all my modern image locomotives. Anything that was made after 1970 I no longer own. Rolling stock and locos as well. A few vehicles light, but you know, they're to the side. Got this as well. That's a beautiful little thing, isn't it? Also a traction engine. Don't know why it's parked in the coal sidings, but it is. So I'm just thinking of turning this into a extended goods yard and a coal merchants. So would that be something you folks would be interested in seeing? Do you want to see me turn this into a coal merchant, or should I just do it and then make a video about something else? Would that be interesting to you watching this video now, mate? Is that what you want to see? If it is, let me know in the comments. Anyway, let's get this N7 running. Let's get it shunting. Right then, there we are, little N7. It is siding now. It's not sound fitted yet, so I'm going to have to just set the road and try and get it out of the sidings. I've got to remember which road that is. I think that's B road. There we are. We'll try and get it out of the way here. I do currently have a locomotive here which I need to move one side. That Stay Alive should have charged up enough to overcome any momentary stuttering, which unfortunately I just cannot seem to get rid of. I cleaned the wheel back to backs on that thing with bloody every harsh chemical known to man, and sometimes it still does stutter. I think the motor's got a little bit of entropy, but anyway, so chuck it into reverse and away she goes. I have to admit, Oxford made a really pretty locomotive for this. It is a lovely model. It really is a pretty little thing. I think what we'll do is we'll run her up to the water tower and we'll get some water in her. Because why not? Set the points. Bring her forward. And we'll stop her just at the water tower. Look at that. And that's one thing I do love about DCC, by the way. It's the fact that you can fit Stay Alive to things. Because they really do help a lot. Now, a lot of people could be guilty of bandaging the issue at hand. And that's fine. But I like Stay Alive because it just stops the little frustrations. As I've already said, there's enough frustrations in this hobby as it is, without adding more of them. So we're moving forward now into the head shunt at the end there. And I think we'll bring her down to the good siding, even though there's no wagons in there. There we are, up into the head shunt. And we'll set the profile for the A siding for the good job, which is this road here, by the crane. And we'll get her back in here. Now, it may lose power because I wired up that crossing really badly. So if it loses power, the Stay Alive should take over. There you go. Stay Alive. There we go. And again, just keeps it going. It really is a pretty little locomotive, and I'm happy with it. I really am. It's a lovely little thing. I look forward to getting it sound fitted. Right, folks, that's it for this week. Hope you've enjoyed the updates, and I will see you all next week for another nonsense video. Cheers now. Bye-bye. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz. See you soon. Bye-bye.